Hello everybody, this is Chibijuicy of YouTube. I decided to do another drawn talk because I kind of feel like it, because fuck yes. And today I am drawing the character Yukina, who is from a webcomic that I cannot pronounce the name of because I cannot really speak French that well. But I'll put it on the screen so then y'all can read it. I decided to draw her in her current years at the moment, since, you know, that's where the comic is at right now. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, I suggest reading the webcomic. I'll put a link in the description of my, on this video. You know what's kind of funny? Like, when I was reading that webcomic, when I was first started reading it, it was around the same time I kind of got into the fanime community, actually. Like, it started around July of 2014, so I guess it was like a little bit after I joined community, but still I was curious on reading it when it first released, and to be honest, I'm really enjoying it so far. I really enjoyed of how the story went. Though I'm curious of how things are to go, especially with a lot of things that happen. I don't want to go into too much spoiler territory, but I will say that, like, there was some point where a lot of shit has hit the fan. So yeah, if you have not already, I suggest reading the webcomic I've been talking about in this video so far. I guess I could also talk about, like, my weird process of what was going on in the video, because this is actually kind of embarrassing. You see, I chose the absolute worst time to be recording for this video, because I recorded around like 1:50, and then once it became 2 p.m, my friend KHF decided to be online, and I just realized, oh fuck, it's 2 p.m! So I decided, I can still record this. I mean, I'm not really recording any audio from this recording, so I decided to, like, be in the call while still drawing this. And then, like, there was like a lot of things that happened. My boyfriend decided to be it must be in, like, there's one point where he's asking if you could join the call, which, you know, he did. But there's like there has been a lot of detours in the speed paints, let's just say, and it's actually kind of embarrassing. I'm kind of glad that I was only recording for Alpaca, because this is kind of embarrassing. Though in the end, I'm kind of proud of how this turned out. I mean, there's some things I wish I would have fixed, but I think I kind of like how this turned out. I guess with the talking about my embarrassing thing out of the way, I could talk about another embarrassing thing that happened to me. So my eldest sister, she was about to have her second baby, this year, and like this month was the due month of her having her baby, and my mother was just like, okay, you probably need to pack your shit up because the baby's about to be due around like 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning. And for the past nights that I did prepare for this, I was like, you know what, this is gonna happen. This is probably gonna happen. But last night I was just like, okay, it's probably gonna happen a little bit of a later date, so might as well just relax for one night. And that was when I made my rookie mistake, my dudes. Because around 4 a.m. in the morning, 4:15 exactly, my mother was preparing to be like, hey, your sister's about to have her baby soon, and I was like so inaudible at that point. I was just like, I can't even imitate because how stupid I was sounding at that point. And my mother was just like, you can go back to sleep, I'm just gonna go. Which, I did go back to sleep, but I was feeling like a jackass! And I woke up around 12, which is usually around the time I usually have my lunch. So, rippin' pepperoni pizza, I guess! I'm kind of an embarrassment sometimes. I guess we'll talk about the more positive side of things, because these 2 times I talked about, with the exception of the webcomic, because I do highly recommend the webcomic, the 2 times that happened with me, and specifically, that's just embarrassing. Oof. So anyway, on to the more positive side of things. Me, Tenchi Honka, Coco, also known as the other Coco, and Funny Bunny J, have released a game recently. We worked on that game for more than half a year. Like, we worked really hard on that game, and I really appreciate if you were to if any of you guys might have been able to play it and tell me your thoughts on it. The game that we worked on is called Sate Sugoi, which is a sequel to the first game that we made called Culinary Kakoi. I will link the trailer of Sate Sugoi in the end card, but in the description I will also link the itch.io pages for both Culinary Kakoi and Sate Sugoi. Speaking of visual novels, I have idea for 2 visual novels, one of which I was working on before and the other one I just started working on. One idea for a visual novel is the Moogie Baloogie visual novel, which that's gonna be fun. Oh gosh, that's gonna be a horseshit shit show. And the other idea for visual novel I have is actually kind of interesting. It's 3 kinetic visual novels into 1 visual novel. And if you want to know what a kinetic visual novel is, a kinetic visual novel is basically like a visual novel, but it has a more linear storyline rather than having choices in the game. Like, if you're any familiar with the Higurashi visual novel, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, really, the only choices that you would make are which stories that you want to read, actually. One story that I have been planning, and I kind of want to test waters with it, with this visual novel. I talked about it in the last video, the Kondo Crew. So, your favorite shitheads will be back. Another story that I'm planning to do is something that I kind of mentioned only to the Kakoi Crew and in Chain of Server, which is basically about the story of this girl who's suffering a whole lot and is overblowing her own mistakes, but this mystical voice helping her out to get through the pain. It's sort of based off what I've been kind of feeling as of late, but I'm gonna make sure that's kind of not that close to home for me. Who knows, maybe I'll fail. But just note that I also want to tell this story. And another story that I come up with is called The Reverse Fable. I've talked about this with some friends before, but not really to the extent in videos, because the story that I've made for The Reverse Fable is basically about like this girl who is a princely knight and this boy who is like a princess. And yes, it was around 2011, which is around the time I was overly obsessed with Revolutionary Girl Utena. But hey, 2011 was also the year that I kind of came up with more original ideas than I did, whereas with the years before that, it was nothing but fan fictions. Anyways, I talked a lot in this video, and I'm pretty sure I probably should end it a little bit soon. So in the meantime, check out the webcomic I link in the description, check out both Culinary Kakoi and Sate Sugoi. I hope y'all have a good day, and this is Chibujisi of YouTube signing out. Goodbye!